Welcome back to another Writer Wednesday. And I wasn't gonna do anything today, but then that made me think of of, it made me think of some rather bad writing advice, which I think, don't quote me on this, but I am 95% sure that it was Stephen King who said it. And it was that in order to be like a good writer, you have to write every day. And I'm gonna be completely honest, it's some of the most garbage advice I've ever heard. Where am I going? I don't want to go that way. Like today, for example, and pretty much every day so far this week, I am mentally exhausted. I have no creative juice to give. I am dried out. I'm tired. I work a day job, and that day job is exhausting sometimes. And by the time I get home, I don't feel like writing because I know that whatever I write is going to be garbage, and I'm going to have to edit through it and delete most of it because it's not going to be worth anything. Then I'm going to be stressing out the whole time while I'm writing it because I know it's garbage and I know I'm going to delete it and I know I'm wasting my time. Then it spirals into a whole thing of, am I a good writer because I can't write every day nonsense. And that's crap. That is garbage. You do not have to write every day to be a writer. You just have to write. It can be once a week, once every couple of weeks, once a month when you go do your laundry. I don't know. I'm not saying I do laundry only once a month. That was just the first thing that came to my mind. My brain is not braining too good tonight, all right? But back to this advice of writing every day. We all know that Stephen King, he's a big author. He's very successful. But unless you are home all the time and have nothing else to do but write, and you are a full time writer, you have committed to being a full time writer, then I mean, yeah, you stay home and you write every day. That's your job. That's what you do. However, if you are like me and the majority of other authors, you aren't full time writing. You have a job, you have a family, you have things that you have to do during the day. And writing doesn't always take precedence. Excuse me. Making dinner takes precedence. Doing your laundry so you have clothes to wear to work tomorrow takes precedence. And, like I said, sometimes you just don't feel like it. And that is perfectly fine. It's like, I know there are days when I get home or I don't even feel like playing a game. I sit and I will watch whatever YouTube video comes up on my page until, like, I don't know, 8 o'clock. I will go read for a bit and I will pass out because I have no brain left to give. It is done. I am exhausted. I am mentally and emotionally, physically exhausted. Not now, Suze. I'm busy. I'm on a thing. I'm on a tangent. No, hang out here for a minute, okay? No, no, no. Sit. Just sit and let me do my thing. We'll go outside here in a minute, okay? You've had your dinner. Yes, you have. I put it there myself. But for me, what? Oh, I remember this. Uh, for me, I I don't always want to write when I get home. Sometimes, on a rare blue moon occasion, yes, I do. Most of the time, I don't. I sit, I watch YouTube videos, I play a game like Minecraft to just not really lull me into nothing, but just to help me relax. Like, I can do like this with Minecraft. I'm not really doing anything. I'm going to the end of this tunnel and I'm going to continue the tunnel. That is what I'm doing. Because it's not stressful. It kind of gives that same cathartic satisfaction as like coloring does, if that makes sense. This is why I like Minecraft. It's I can just play this game for hours and not really actually do anything. And eventually I need more blocks, because I need to build through there. Because I don't always have the brain space to write. And it really depends on where I am in whatever it is I'm working on. Like right now, for example, I have a book that we're editing for publication sometime next year, like early spring, late winter, which it was not scheduled to be out because I know if you've been, paying attention, I did a rapid release this summer, and that was exhausting in itself. But we had other books planned to go out. My publisher did. I need. There we go. But those books aren't ready as they were going to be. So I was like, hey, I have this standalone. We can push that through. So that's what we're doing. We're putting this standalone vampire. I hesitate to say vampire romance because that just gives like it just makes you think of like Twilight and all the bad vampire books that came out after that. But it's in the same vein as like everything else they do. It's a high fantasy, but it has fae and vampires in it. This is the first time that I've written anything with fae in it. So, I mean, it's been fun, but I also probably won't do it again for a while. But and it's also a little bit more on the romance than other things that I've done. There's been romance in everything that I've written, but this is the first time that romance has been a little bit more prominent. But anyway, so where was I? I was talking about this book that we're now doing. So I've gone from having a book that we were rapid releasing to having this book that we're publishing. So I was looking forward to having a break because the rapid release is really exhausting. It was a load of fun, and I'm so glad we did it, but it was exhausting. Like, I was looking forward to having a break between now and like when my next book would come out next late summer ish. But at the same time, I'm really glad to also get this book out of the queue because I have several standalones that are just kind of hanging out, waiting for their chance to get published. And I thought it would be a nice shift for me because all I've ever done is series, except for this one uh, pirate steampunk thing I did that I self-published a while ago. Because don't get me wrong, I love a series, but I'm ready to do something else. I'm ready to not have, this the success of the entire series hinged on the success of book one. That's not what I wanted. Because that's kind of how it is. If you have like a series and book one doesn't do the best, then you'll lose excitement for the rest of the series because you don't, if there's that feeling of why am I doing it if nobody's reading it. That's how my very first self-published series was. It did not sell. Book one did, and of course I didn't know what I was doing, so there was a lacking on my part also. But at the same time, that series might not ever get finished because I kind of lost my love for it along the way too. I had a point. What was I talking about? See, this is what I mean. Like my brain is just fried by the time I get home. And if I tried to write now, I would start and then not have a clue what I was doing in 10 minutes. That's where my brain is right now. Oh, forgot I was in water. What was I talking about? Oh, writing every day and Stephen King's bad writing advice. And normally, your big writers will have good writing advice, and he has a lot of good writing advice. Like that book he wrote, um, on writing. There's a lot of good advice in there, and it's not like just him telling you how to write. There's a lot of like his biography and how he, became who he is and how he got started and all that fun stuff. And I enjoy reading stuff like that, like your famous authors, how they got started, because all your big authors started out as nobodies. They started out, typing their first manuscript out on a typewriter and physically mailing letters to query agents. Literary agents. They were querying literary agents. There we go. Words. I can word. I word real good sometimes. I have. I've written several novels, so yes, that is evidence. I can word. Just not all the time. But, like, your favorite authors, like Sarah J. Maas, she started out writing on the internet. Like, Wattpad, I think, is where she started when she was like 16. Oh, oh, we're lagging just a little bit. Oh no. Oh, 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 oh. Ooh, whew, that was oh, it's my lungs are lagging. But your big authors, they started out as nothing. They follow the steps just like everyone else, like everything tells you to do. I can't just. There we go. And most of them, their books made them famous. Well, I guess that's not really right. Okay, okay, okay. One more, one more. Yes! That's it, right? We're through the water. We're done with the water. Good. But usually I like listening to your successful authors talk about how they did what they did, where they started, where they've come from, their highs and lows. Because when you start listening to those stories, you realize that those are the same things that we struggle with, or like us small authors struggle with. And I like listening to, your big successful authors, or I guess not all successful authors are big, but your successful authors talk about their favorite pieces of writing advice and why it's their favorite piece of writing advice. Because a lot of times, most times, they can present the advice and then give experience to back it up. There is a lot of writing advice in the internet, on the internet, I should say. And there for a while, when I was reading every book about writing that I could get my hands on, every book that my library had in their system, and there was quite a few about writing. I even read books about writing in genres that I didn't intend to write in. Like I read a book about writing romance novels. We were lagging just a little bit tonight. But then I looked online to see, just what other books were out there. And oh my word, there are so many books about writing just available on Amazon. And I read some of them that weren't like terribly expensive. And there is a huge difference between the writing advice that's being given from people who genuinely believe that piece of writing advice, who have lived and breathed, the act of writing a novel, and they understand thoroughly what that piece of writing advice is and where the authors are who are seeking that advice, like are in their career, and the people who have never written a book but are regurgitating writing advice and throwing it in an ebook trying to make a buck. Those people exist and they irritate me because there's so many of them. And I can very distinctly remember on, I want to say it was Twitter. It might have been Tumblr too. I don't know. It's been a long time, and it's been a long time since I've been on Tumblr. But somebody was talking about. Oh, I blocked myself in. A book that they had written on writing. Like, it was about writing. It wasn't called On Writing. And I asked what their credentials were for writing said book. And I was blocked by that person because they didn't have any credentials. They were a no name, no written books to their name person on the internet trying to make money off of authors. That pisses me off, I think, more than anything else. These, they like used car salesmen is how they act. They present you with, oh, we'll help you publish your book, and you only have to give us X amount of dollars. Absolutely not. Never do that unless it is a trusted source. Like, there are like promotional companies and stuff that I trust, like Written Word Media. Trust them. But there are so many others that are willing to take your money and do absolutely nothing for you. But they talk a big talk. And it's the same thing with writing advice. There are so many people out there who are willing to sell you the secret to writing a bestseller, or the secret of getting an agent, or some other such ah or some other such uh, dream that they're trying to sell you. Because there are a lot of authors out there who are trying to make it. They're trying to sell their books. They're trying to get their name out there. And it is a struggle to be noticed and to feel like you're being seen and not wasting your time. We are all in that same boat. But it's these companies who, and it's not always companies, it's individuals also, who are trying to sell that dream to you with their products or services. And I have fallen prey to some of them. Like, I don't even know how much money I've spent on software that is supposed to help me write. And I don't mean like Microsoft Word, right? I mean like these products that are supposed to help you plot your book or help you market your book or whatever, some such. Give me money will help you get published or will help you write a good book kind of products. And some of them are legit products. Like, there's one that I have that helps. It's um I believe the name of it is Plotter with two R's. Ooh. Oh. Well, that's exciting. Just gonna step back in here. How far up are we? Can we not go to the side here or anything? Ah, I see, I see. Okay, how am I gonna do this? Um, I Completely forgot what I was talking about there. I'm sorry. Sharks on the internet. Plotter. And it's a good piece of software. It does exactly what it was advertised to do, which is helps you make plot points. But I think I have passed the point of needing such help because while yes, it does exactly what it said it would do, I've only used it I think once. What? Okay. Software. And I feel like every time I turn around, there's some other company trying to sell me software or trying to sell me advice or trying to sell the secret of getting an agent or the secret of getting published, blah 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 blah. And it's getting old. I mean, it's been old for a while because I've been in the publishing sphere, the specifically the self-publishing and small press sphere for a while. How I guess we can knock some of this water out, and that is going to be how we're getting down. Uh, but I feel like a lot of writing advice is kind of like that, where someone they're just trying to get views or they're just trying to sell you a product that you don't really need. Because, like with the case of Plotter, like I'm sure there are authors out there who swear by it, but I have, written enough books that I have my writing process down, and I am able to plot without the need of such a product, if that makes sense. Like I don't need like the way Scrivener does where it separates like the chapters. I don't need that because I have taught myself to write with Microsoft Word and I don't need all the fancy stuff because I've kind of taught myself to keep track of things and I have my own ways of doing things. Excuse me. I've taught myself how to do things and I don't need fancy software to help me do that. No, if you are a beginning writer, I can definitely see how some of the products would be immensely useful. Okay, I am struggling to see because my light is too bright. I'm going to turn it down just a smidge. Okay, that's a little better. Normally I'd be playing this in the dark. Uh, and I bought the stupid ring light. We're going to use it. But to kind of circle back to the bad writing advice of write every day. You don't need to write every day. You just need to write as often as you need to, as often as you want to. Because, yes, writing a book is a time intensive endeavor. It takes time. That doesn't mean that you can't write a book if you're busy. You just got to kind of carve out some time. And that might be when your laundry's in, or before the kids get up for school, or after the kids go to bed, or on your lunch hour at work. Because I don't want to be that person, but I'm going to say it, that if you want to do something, you make time. Like me, I want to write, so I make time. I don't have much else to do, so it's a lot easier for me. But you don't necessarily need to write, every day, every other day. But you do need a writing routine, especially if you want to one day be a full writer or, publish a lot of books. Stupid baby zombie. They are the worst. I'm out of wood. I don't have any more torches. Well, awesome. And I didn't plan this very well. But no, wait, that was, I saw cobwebs, wasn't it? So isn't there a thingy? I can't see, but I swear I saw cobwebs. So that means there's a mine shaft, and mine shafts have wood. And danger. Oh, the lag. I'm fighting the lag more than I'm fighting the spider. I see it. Okay, let me... My computer sounds like it's getting ready to take off. I have a new computer, but I have to hook it up and put everything on it. Which, I'm gonna be honest, sounds horrible. Yes! What was I? Writing routines, I think, is where I was. I didn't really have a plan for this, so it's gonna be just as rambly as everything else. Oh, speaking of rambling, I watched someone play that. What? I jump! I am pressing the space bar. Why can't I jump? Oh, what is it called? With the raccoon, it's a horror game and it's actually really good. I won't play it. I don't like to play horror games by myself. I like to watch other people play horror games. But that just made me think of it. It just looks really good. Looks very, like the story looks good. I had nothing else to add to that. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. That's not a sword. But more important than writing every day is just establishing a writing routine. And whether or not you have a writing routine and how often is really just dependent on what you want out of your writing career. Like even if you even want to make it a career, or if you want to just have like a blog, or if you just want to write a story that's been stuck in your brain since middle school. But if you want a career, like a commercial career, then yeah, you'll need your writing routines probably, best. I'm stuck in the middle. Because that leads me into some of my favorite writing advice. And it's not so much writing advice as much as publishing advice. And that is, if you want commercial success, if you want to be commercially successful, like all these, big authors, then you need to write a commercial book. And I love that piece of advice because it speaks to, that not every author wants to be the next, uh, whatever, big name, insert big famous author here. Some just want to write a book to get it off their chest. And if you want to write kooky weird stuff, you can write kooky weird stuff. That's fine. But if you want to be, commercially successful, you want to be the next Sarah J. Maas or whatever, then you need to be commercially successful. You need to follow the commercial rules. You need to follow, the standards of the industry and stuff. Which that could be in another entirely different lecture. I think that was a lecture that I set through for the Women in Publishing conference that they do. Came out of nowhere. Well, it might have been in here. And I do not remember the name of the author who said that, but it was an author. But her whole thing was actually really good. Like the whole lecture that she did. Because it was about, what do you want out of your writing career? Because not every writer wants the same things. More over there. And the expectations of genre. And it was actually really good. I can't remember anything else about it right now because that would be useful. And I'm gonna be honest, my head is starting to hurt. I ran out of my allergy medicine, and I am too lazy to go to the store and get more because I don't want to go to Walmart. It's horrible. It's really the only place to get things where I live. And I gotta work myself up to it. Gotta mentally prepare that I'm gonna go to Walmart today, days in advance. So I'm also a little sniffly. Wait, oh. Diamonds! But that's, the most hated writing advice and then the best writing advice for me, in my opinion, right there. Oh, there's two! Yeah. I need more torches. And I could, do a whole thing where I dissect all the writing advice. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it really just depends on you as a writer, what you want, what you need. But to add to, my second favorite writing advice is read. Read often, read widely. Because, if we're authors, we write because we love. How did I miss diamonds over here? You know what? It's fine. We write books because we love books. We love stories. We love crafting stories. At least, that's I do. Maybe you just want to write a story, or you want to write the story of your grandma or something. Yeah. I'm coming for you. We're hiding in the weeds. There's so many skeletons just everywhere. Oh, and there's some that real common writing advice. It's not necessarily my favorite, but it makes sense, which is write what you know. or know what you write. Oh, excuse me. Ah! So, the common writing advice that I heard all the time when I was first starting out was know what you write. Or write what you know. Write what you know was the first one. Write what you know was a very uh, commonly regurgitated piece of writing advice everywhere that there was writing advice. And we've since kind of gotten away from that. Or there are some that are really sticklers on that. Some writing nerd people, I don't know. But I like rather instead of know what you write. I am flubbing this up every way from Tuesday. But we've since kind of gotten away from that, and now it's more know what you write. So the difference is like with no with a 5 minutes of me trying to get these words out correctly, and I'm still not getting these words out correctly. But when they say write what use your own experiences in your writing, but also don't write about experiences that aren't yours. Uh, Example of that would be like, if you've never been to New York City, don't write about a story that is set in New York City because you will never be able to get the setting like it really is. However, with the writing advice of know what you write, if you have a book set in a city you've never been to, you be prepared to become an expert on that city. Like, I will never set a book in New York City, mostly because, one, I've never been there, and there's a lot of intricacies that I don't understand. I'm not a city person, never lived in a big city. So, most of my books include small towns. However, I also don't write contemporary, so also will never have something set in New York City. Because that's just not an experience that I have. I don't know how it smells, I don't know how it looks. Because there's a difference in like the writing of like someone who writes about a place that they have been and they know, intimately well versus someone who writes about a place that they've never been and they've only read about, let's say. Now, I write fantasy, right? So I've never been to any of the places that I write about because they don't exist. However, that just means I have to become an expert on those places. I have to know the intricacies, how they smell, how they look, what streets are which, and all that fun stuff. That's just the fun part of being a fantasy author. My head is about to explode, I'm gonna be honest. So I think I'm just gonna call this here. I don't really have anything else to say anyway. So thank you for joining me on another rambly Writer Wednesday where I talk in circles. I don't think I talked in as many circles as I did last time. I think I did better. But it's a Wednesday night, so it is what it is. uh, I will see you next week if you choose to join me again for another Writer Wednesday, because there will be more. I have a list of things to talk about for Writer Wednesday, but it could be like one of these nights where my brain doesn't work, so I want to talk about my brain not working and how that's okay. Oh, I'm gonna go to bed is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm gonna finish up here, get out of this cave, and go to bed. That is a good plan.